nous sommes d'accord avec Hamas, nous sommes d'accord avec tous.
Nous ne sommes pas d'accord avec Hamas, mais concernant Hamas, oui.
Contre Hamas, oui. Et pour une solution à deux États. Mais ça doit être un État palestinien viable et libre qui existe côte à côte avec un État israélien qui existe dans la paix et la sécurité.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. Please comment, like, subscribe, especially subscribe, because I am so close to being monetized in Commie Canada, and it has never been more expensive to live here, and I have 3 children. So, and before you say, well, why doesn't this bitch have a job? Because I was injured by the you-know-whats, and my voice is constantly suppressed. So if you don't like the government just like me, please subscribe to Stick It to the Man. Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, I would like to say I watched some of the debate last night. It was embarrassing. Who the fuck is that fourth guy? Don't know who that is. First of all, I would like to say Chrystia Freeland actually looked presentable for once in her life. I actually thought she looked good. And that is saying a lot, you guys. I am pointing that out because Chrystia Freeland never looks good. And, you know, I wouldn't comment something like that because I don't really like to comment on things like that. But the thing is that she represents Canada. And that woman there's 100 pictures of her picking her wedgie, okay? Looking frumpy as hell. Last night was the first time I looked at Chrystia Freeland and thought, wow, she could be a professional. That's after staring at her for 10 years. So take the comment with stride, okay? Christina Gold, giving nothing, per usual. Not surprised by that, though. And Mark Carney. I am really not sure that the Liberals even realize that 90% of, I wouldn't say 90%, but a good chunk of people / women voted for Trudeau because of his likability and because of his looks. I don't make that up. That is actually something that when you look at the interviews about people asking why they voted Trudeau, a lot of the women say because of his looks. I'm not saying that because I'm sexist. You know what? I don't even need to give these disclaimers. You guys aren't on the left. Mark Carney made a huge mistake by saying that they agree with Hamas. Yep, they agree with a terrorist organization because his French isn't that good. Isn't that ironic? Last night's debate was essentially watching a bunch of people agree with each other. And then I watched Chrystia Freeland hug Mark Carney at the end. And I love when she said things like, we stick to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Do you? Is bank accounts being frozen for protesting our bodily autonomy in the Charter of Freedom? Did you protect that, Chrystia Freeland? Or did you smile when you were announcing that you guys were going to freeze the bank accounts of people who donated to the convoy or people involved in the convoy? Did you? I believe that was you dumbasses, okay? None of these people that I've seen on the stage last night are even remotely qualified to run this country. One wasn't even voted in to have a seat in the House of Commons. So overall, big failure. I really hope I'm going to get into my next topic, which is the smear campaign against Pierre Poilievres, okay? But before I get into that, last night, the most consistent thing that I heard coming out of the Liberals' mouths was about Pierre Poilievres. One of the scariest things that I kept hearing from them was we can't let Pierre Poilievres win. I take the Liberals seriously when they say shit like this. Why? Because they've already had foreign interference in their last 2 elections to help them win, okay? I believe what they say when they say that they will do anything and everything they can to make sure that Pierre Poilievres doesn't win, and that's scary. You guys need to be, as Liberals, making sure that you, as candidates, are ready to compete with someone as strong as Pierre Poilievres, okay? So I'm going to talk about Pierre Poilievres' smear campaign, okay? Because we're finding out that potentially our tax dollars are going towards paying Canadians to smear Pierre Poilievres. And that doesn't surprise me, okay, because it's the Liberals and they're shady as fuck. The disturbing part of it is, though, first of all, I told you guys before, I've been part of the left, okay, where I have been so sure because of the propaganda shoved in my face that the left that NDP was going to win a majority, okay? And I've been paying attention for the last 3 years. See, there's a lot of us online who for the last 3 years who have no affiliation whatsoever, whose lives have been completely ruined and have nothing left. We talk online. We talk a lot online about the government corruption, and there's been a bunch of us content creators who are conservative. We just get put that label on us since the convoy, basically, okay? And all of a sudden, about a month ago, there was this guy who said he was Mark Carney's son. I don't think he's actually Mark Carney's son, but as soon as this guy arrives, he gets 20,000 followers overnight. That doesn't just happen. He starts saying all of these things about Pierre Poilievres, and I've noticed quite a bit lately that there have been people who went to school with Pierre Poilievres trying to smear his name from when he was younger. Now, I'm just going to say this. I don't give a fuck. And most people don't give a fuck what Pierre was like in high school. You want to know why? Because our prime minister did blackface so many times that we've lost count. Yep, our prime minister has made so many mistakes, huge, massive, racist mistakes, more racist mistakes than Pierre Poilievres ever has said, okay? And we forgave him, and he is currently our prime minister and has never been held accountable. He is not helping marginalized communities in the slightest. And if you could point to the direction as to where he's helping any marginalized Canadian in the slightest, I would happily take back my statement, okay? But I could tell immediately that there was a massive smear campaign going towards Pierre because of all of the comments in my comment section, the actual literal demon attacks, okay, from the left, which they're always pretty demonic, but after Trump won, it was insanely demonic. Why? Because they realized once Trump won that Pierre Poilievres probably has a running shot and winning, okay? I get he's just like Trump. Yeah, he's not, but Trump had some good ideas. So obviously some of the things that Pierre says, like when he wants to put Canada first, how can you disagree with that? How can you say that Trump is even wrong? I don't think Trump is putting America first, to be honest, as much as he should be, because why is he taking over Gaza? But I digress, because Revelations is about to come true, but I digress. Now, there will be a bunch of young people who fall for this, no doubt about it, and I've seen it. I've seen the crash out online. The left are going crazy over Pierre Poilievres, and just know that I do believe that most Canadians know that the life that we were living before Trudeau is one that we want to get back to, okay? Because we realize that going after equality rather than equity, diversity, and inclusion is the answer. It was the answer to keeping our social programs functioning, okay? DEI is doing nothing but looking good on paper. It does nothing for the people who actually need the help that these people say that they help. Our social systems need to be going back to what they were before, following an ethics guide to moral principle or whatever the fuck it was called officially, because that means things like do no harm, informed consent, things like that. We have traded do no harm for affirm blindly, okay? So I know that people are worried about it, okay? But I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you are worried about it, get out there, okay? I would be volunteering my time to work with Cassidy, but I'm sick, okay? So that's why I'm on these apps yapping my face off about the government corruption that I have seen, because I literally can't do anything else, you guys. I can barely clean my house and take care of my children, and I have 3 children with special needs, so my days are dedicated to keeping myself alive and taking care of my family, which I happily love doing. But if I can come on here and have a creative outlet and expose the government for who they are, you know, I'll that sounds like a plan to me. Next, we're going to talk about Canada being broke as fuck and about to head to a recession. See, here's the thing. I have been on TikTok for 3 years, right? Because I was jabbed, poisoned, could not work after. If you want to know more about that, I believe I posted my whole story on YouTube. But if you guys want another video kind of detailing my life and what happened to me about my wax injury, let me know. But anyways, I have been talking about how broke Canada is for 3 years now. When I realized that my husband's paycheck, which should be a lot bigger, was getting taxed, and we were getting taxed property taxes, tax on everything, basically, I kind of started to dig into why Canada's economy, because I meal prep a lot, okay, and meal plan. I have been on this health journey since I had my daughter 12 years ago, and I noticed the price of things going significantly up because I bought expensive food before, and now I don't buy anything organic because I can't afford it and stuff like that. So I understand for a long time now how much Trudeau has truly destroyed our economy, because I used to be under the impression that you could just print money and nothing would happen. It's just, who cares? No, the banks do, and deficits care, okay? The economy fucking cares, okay? And it was around the time the convoy started that this started, and that was when I really started friggin' not liking the left. I genuinely could not keep up with this, with the cognitive dissonance any longer. I was like, so you guys are your unwavering support for Ukraine, okay, but gay marriage isn't legal there. And they would have like the pride parade flag, the pride flag in their bio, and the Ukraine flag. Okay. I actually was driving to St. Thomas, and I seen a pride flag and a Ukraine flag combined. I was like, this is enough. I'm done. You're done. We're done here. You guys literally do everything that the media, and that was kind of when I was like, I am and have been being played by the media for a long time. Okay, because we're unwaveringly supporting a war. I thought liberals were staunchly anti-war. Okay? And I'm certainly done with our tax dollars going towards wars while I see people dying on our streets. Oh my God. We have our own issues at home, okay? We have a fentanyl crisis that our government has literally stimulated and created. And we're giving money to wars when we need to protect our own borders. Guys, I hate this government so much. Oh, okay, we'll take our guns and give them to Ukraine. We're super anti-gun, but if you guys want our guns, that's fine. It's just like the notion of we're against pipelines, but we're pro pipelines that are in China. So, no, that's not how this shit works. And the fact that they've tried to disarm Canadians while making so many fucking enemies while they're at it. They had a Yahtzee in the House of Commons when President Zelensky was in. The whole point of Russia invading Ukraine is because he thinks there's not Yahtzees in Ukraine, okay? So bringing a real fucking Yahtzee to the House of Commons and then having mysterious bomb threats at our schools the next following Monday with absolutely no connection there, it pisses me off. This entire government pisses me off. I've known that they have been throwing our country and economy down the toilet for 3 years, and I've been screaming from the rooftops because our people have been so brainwashed into thinking that conservative equals equal or equals evil, okay? And I'm done with it. I am done with this entire narrative of, you know, everybody is evil but my party, because it's not getting you guys anywhere. It's not getting the left anywhere. And you guys need to call out shit. Like, at least people on the left in America were calling out the fact that the Democrats were super funding wars, okay? Our Canadians don't even do that. Our Canadian Liberals are so afraid, and NDPers are so afraid of Pierre Poilievres, despite not actually even listening to a fucking single speech that he has ever said in his life, that they will not bring up the fact that we have funded Israel. Okay? They hate Israel so much. I don't like Israel's government either, but I'm just saying the things that they can look past is super ironic. Well, I mean, they can look past the fact that 75,000 Canadians have died from lack of access to healthcare. And, they use the excuse, oh, it's province. Yeah, I'm sure in the history books, they're going to be like, okay, so from the time Justin Trudeau was in, these were the premiers. No, everybody's going to look back in history and see that it was obviously Justin Trudeau's corruption that started this entire mess, okay? And hopefully it will be Pierre to end it. I remember there being a scandal about a fucking glass of orange juice, and that was the scandal that rocked Canada's government, okay? And I don't remember Harper being perfect in the slightest, okay? And when I post that video of what Canada used to be like, people are like, this is your perspective. No, I have a completely different perspective, and it's way more pro-Canada than, what Canada was, because I was going through hard times during Harper in my real life. In my real life, I was a single mom, and I was adopted during Harper. And people are like, you just remember the good times. No, I remember wanting their laws to be changed because I had no rights from 16 to 18 to do anything. So there was things that could have been worked on, but it's Justin Trudeau took whatever progress we had and flushed it down the toilet. Like, it's going to take a long time for Canada to get back here. And don't say I didn't warn you guys. Okay, between the carbon tax, the tariffs, property taxes, all of the people who are working aimlessly together to ensure that Canadians own nothing and are happy, it's going along great, isn't it, you guys? Does this seem like a conspiracy theory to you guys? When our own people are poor and they give continuous money to wars to fund them despite knowing that we're about to head into a depression. Luckily for you guys, I'm also good at being poor. Okay, I was a single mom. I was great at being poor, although it is harder to be poor. You want to know why? Because even thrift store prices are astra-fucking-nomical in this country. Because that's what I mean about, well, I guess I didn't post the video about what it means to be Canadian, but when I do post that video, when I've perfected it, you guys will see that what it meant to be Canadian was that no matter where you came from, you could get ahead in life. Go to a thrift store, go to a community center, a Y, take a shower, get a job, get back onto your feet. Although, if you lose your house, you lose your house. That's hard. Okay, I'm not saying that everybody was going through great times. I remember the people that adopted me really going through tough times during the recession and not being able to afford stuff. But at the same time, we still did stuff. Okay, we still did stuff. As in concerts, and could afford to go to Wonderland. Okay, you guys, it was not the way it is now. And like, I will be posting some recipes on my shorts and stuff, because this whole thing started as a homemaking thing because I have ADHD and I wanted to bring like a voice that has a tough time being feminine to the homemaking space, because there's not a lot of those voices. But then it turned into my whole life was robbed, and I feel the need to speak out about it. And if you know, you know, because no one will. If you talk about liking the conservative government, you will not get sponsors, basically, is what I'm saying. On Instagram, I know like BPN supports people here, but anyways, guys, that's all for today. I might post another video later today talking about why I'm not a feminist anymore to really piss off the left. But anyways, guys, please have a great day. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I have some breaking news. Give me a minute because it's going to get really good. This kid right here made a video debunking me, saying he's going to fact check, show that this company over here, you can't see the name, but it says Protecting Canada. It's actually an Ontario registered corporation, and they're the ones who are running millions of dollars of hate ads against Pierre Poilievres. Now this is where it gets interesting. I made the claim that I believe this is dark money and that this is actually illegal. And he says it's perfectly legal. Elections Canada has a law that states that any third party doing advertising has to be registered with them. Here it is. I put the word Protecting Canada, and this is called the third party database. When you do that search, guess what? There are no results. They're not listed in there. See, there's actually laws in Canada that talk about third-party advertising. It's part of the Canada Elections Act. And that Elections Act says a third party shall not incur the following expenses in aggregate of amount of more than $350,000. The estimate that this company has been spending, including the TV ads that they're running, and the millions of impressions that they're getting online, on YouTube, paid, on Facebook, paid, presumably Instagram, and they have apparently over 100 different variations. Someone else did the analysis. Their estimate was at least $3 million. So that immediately violates this Election Act, Section 351. And not that this applies, but if this guy does come back and say, well, you know what, the registered in Ontario, well, this is the Ontario law. The Ontario says a third party needs to apply for registration under the Act if they advertise for more than $500. It also says under Ontario that you have to appoint an auditor. And at least in Ontario, it says that no more can be spent on any electoral district. But anyways, this is Ontario only. Just like he said, it's Ontario registered, but it could do business all over Canada. But they're not registered with Elections Canada. Not only that, the maximum contribution someone can make for a political party is $1,750. Having these not-for-profits that are spending presumably millions of dollars in hate ads against a political party that hasn't been in power in nearly a decade sounds a bit, I don't know, illegal? Fact check me.